Hello there, in this video today we're going to be looking at this Atari 2600 Junior released in 1986. It's currently just giving me a black screen, but it does tune in. So if I do an automatic scan, it does pick up one channel, but that is what I am greeted with. And when I turn it on and off, it doesn't make any difference. Every now and then I'll get that noise and a couple of lines, but it's very, very hit and miss. Often it will just give nothing at all. So it is trying, but it's not happy. So let's bring it over to the mat and see if we can find out what's going on. To begin with, it looks like select and reset. I don't know, to me they seem to be forced down. I need to see what sort of buttons are on the inside. Other things are wrong as well, so if I unplug it from here, these two bits are missing. So in order to try to get a game in, I've got to use a screwdriver and force it in here to get the game to go down like this. Hopefully it will stay there and then plug it in. So that's annoying. And as well as that, the whole thing just looks awful, and it's got a bit of a rattle to it. I bought it from eBay along with loads of other Atari 2600 models as well. I've got this one here, but annoyingly this one's working. I'm going to be trying to fix up a few Atari 2600s hopefully over the coming weeks and months, but let's start on this one here and see if we can have any success. So to begin with, we're going to get into this to see the inside. I can see that there's 5 crosshead screws on the back and they come off really easy. Unfortunately, some of the screws are quite rusted, so I think it's going to be quite damaged on the inside. When I prise it open like this, something falls out. If you look closely now, you will see it popped out there. That is the wiper off a potentiometer. So the rattling around on the inside was that thing rattling around. And now you can see, as we lift it off, there's a bit of a ribbon cable there, that it's full of corrosion. There's an awful lot of corrosion on here. A lot of it just does look surface, but it's very dirty. So I don't know, was it left in like a damp shed or something like that? But we need to look under these shields. There's just these little twist tabs that you just have to straighten up to take off. And then you can see it just pops off. Underneath here, again, it looks quite corroded, but I don't know how much of this is maybe flux from when it was made or whether it is actually water damage. It's hard to tell, but there definitely is a bit of rust around the place, so I think it was definitely stored in a damp environment. I'm measuring the voltage regulator here, and you can see that there is 9 volts going in, which is what the power supply is, and there's 5 volts going out, and the red LED is on, so there's definitely voltage getting into it, because I've had these before where there's cold solder joints on the actual barrel jack on the way in, or the power adapter on the way in, but no, there's definitely voltage getting into this. So what I do now is I'll just look very closely to see if I can see any obvious rust through any of the traces somewhere, because you can see there is rust on here, so I'm wondering, has one of the traces been eaten through? But I give a good look on both sides of the board, and the rust is mainly on the kind of shield, and any bits of rust on the board do come off quite easily, so I don't think it is just rust related. It's nice there, it just says Atari 1983, so it didn't come out till 86, but the board there says 83. But there you go, can you see there's a nice lump of rust there, but again it's just surface, look how easy it comes off. Unless, of course, it was thrown in a skip or something. Unless it was dumped and somebody took it out of the skip. Anyway, I do see a few joints that look a bit dry, especially around the voltage regulator. So I'm just going over there with some flux and fresh solder, just to try to reflow them, just in case there's a dry joint that is hard to see by eye, but it might be there. So I'm just soldering up those ones there. And any ones that look particularly dry, I've probably soldered up about 6 or 7 joints around the place. And now, of course, I'm getting my favourite thing, isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just giving it a clean everywhere, just in case in between the pins there's corrosion, which is causing some kind of weird resistance readings. So I'm giving everything a nice good clean on both sides of the boards, paying particular attention to the actual cartridge slots, because even that looks a little bit oxidised and stuff. Also, I noticed that the actual RF connector is quite rusted. That's also not going to help. I'm sure it is making a connection, but I'm giving that a clean. So basically, I've reflowed some joints and I've cleaned up the RF connector and I've given everything a nice clean. So let's plug it in again and see if it's behaving any differently. Well, I've just noticed in the delivery box there is that as well. That's like a kind of fibre washer type thing. I think that's to do with the potentiometer. Right now, still got a red light. but nothing's happening here. Let's just come up with mono. Didn't come up with mono before. I can't reset now because I haven't got the buttons connected. So I think we need to find out what this thing is. It's down as R9. Let me Google R9 and see what's what. Oh, hold on. Look at that. It's when I touch this. It's when I touched this it came alive. Hold on. Turn it back on again. Let's see if it will work again when I touch that. It's trying. Right, here we go. Let's touch this. There. Oh, it's something to do with the voltage regulator. What is it to do with the voltage regulator? Isn't that amazing? Just shows you by putting your hands around the board, sometimes that works. Yeah, it's coming up now. Right, what is it with you that you're not... I wonder, is it somehow getting a... before we break it, let's take it off here, see if there's like a mica pad under here. Maybe corrosion's got under and it's short into ground or something. There's VR1. That's the voltage regulator, 9 volts in and 5 volts out. Actually, is it 9 volts? Let me see what this is here. Yeah, output 9 volts DC. Right, I see. I didn't think that was going to be too important because basically the red LED light came on, which made me think it was going to be okay. But maybe the red LED... Well, hold on 1 second. Where were we? We were 9 volts here, weren't we? And 5 volts here. On what side's that? That goes up here. So what's the LED do then on the middle one? But anyway, if you have a look, even though I've resoldered them, can you see it's like it hasn't actually stuck to the pin? You see it's still blackened in the middle. So let's see if we can take this one off completely and then clean everything up. And the very fact that when I put my fingers across here it came alive says to me that it's a bad contact just on here. Oh no, so there is no, that is using that as a heatsink. I just want to double check that this is ground now that it's been lifted off here. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the voltage regulator completely and let's give a good clean up to the pads underneath, because one of them, again, it looks kind of like dull silver. It doesn't look like shiny solder. So I think it needs to be taken off and just everything cleaned up, because if the legs are oxidized, maybe the solder's not sticking to them and it's not making a good contact. And by me just pressing it, might have been enough just to make that contact, but obviously it's not a good contact. So we'll take it all off, give it a good clean with isopropyl alcohol. Hopefully then when we solder it back on, we can get a nice good connection. Right, there we go, they're through now. I'm going to flood it right the way through so it goes all the way through to the top side, because one of them does go off on the top side. And I'm just going to make sure that this is done on the top side as well. It's weird, it still doesn't really want to stick to the leg. It's so oxidized, and I rubbed it with the grinding pen as well. I'm going to flood it with solder. I want it to travel up the leg straight from here, you see. I can still see a join. There we go. Now it's travelling up the leg. And I'm not bothered about the other two because they're not going anywhere on this side, but they are on this side. Now I'm going to get some thermal paste in here. Now, before I show you all the correct way to apply thermal paste, this is going to be good for YouTube engagement with all the comments coming in. Let's have a word from today's sponsor, PCB Way. PCB Way is your one-stop solution for all things PCB fabrication and assembly. From rapid prototyping to full-scale production, PCB Way delivers top quality products. So whether you're a seasoned engineer or a hobbyist just starting out, PCB Way's user-friendly interface makes ordering your own custom PCBs very easy. And PCB Way do a variety of different services, including but not limited to assembling your PCBs, CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding. So when you're ready to take your designs to the next level, look no further than PCB Way and bring your ideas to life. So a massive thanks to PCB Way for sponsoring the My Mate Bins channel. Links, as always, will be in the description down below. Now, thermal paste time. Ah, that's right. The incorrect amount of thermal paste. After all these years of watching Tronics Fix, I just still can't seem to get the perfect amount. It's just so hard. Anyway, that's now soldered up and I'm properly happy with how it's been soldered. There's no way that there's a cold solder joint on that voltage regulator now. So let's plug it in again and let's see, is it going to work or will it only work when I wiggle the voltage regulator? Maybe there's something inside the voltage regulator that has gone faulty. Right, so I'm on the correct channel. Let's plug it in and turn it on. Red light still comes on. It's doing something. There we go, it's there. Result, it's there. Oh, it's gone. Oh, it was there. No, there you go. Right, now, that is black and white. That's black and white. Right, let's turn it off and back on again. Well, fair play, it seems to be working now. 1981 Atari, but it's black and white. Yeah, it's working. Okay, I am going to Google what this thing is here. I presume that is something to do with colour and black and white. But normally there's a switch for colour and black and white. But maybe that's to adjust the amount of colour or something. Clearly you can see that it's black and white and nothing's happening when I'm doing that switch there. That's not changing anything. Well, saying that, it is changing something. It's adding more lines to the bottom. Yeah? Like it looks cleaner like that. And when I do these switches at the back, the difficulty switches, they're not changing anything. I've had a look online and apparently, yes, you need to adjust this to get the colours right. Clearly this would be done in the factory. So I think you can also adjust this as well for the RF signal. But anyway, clearly this is the problem here. Now, I've had a look and between everything, I've unsoldered it. It looks like we might have to actually have all the parts, but it's broken. But I'm wondering if a dot of solder would get it back in place. I can buy these. They're not expensive. You can get like 5 of them on eBay, but like a modern day equivalent. They're 500k resistors. Potentiometers, like a variable resistor. Yeah. And if you have a look here, the top of them actually says 500k, so that's helpful. But look, this is the resistive material on the top here, this black thing. And if I go between here and here, can you see it's reading 0.553, so that's 553,000 ohms. Yeah. So I'm wondering, rather than just going out to buy one on eBay and waiting for it to arrive, why don't I try to put this back together and add some solder where some of the little things that hold it together have broken. So we have this here. We're then going to have this here. So basically the reading is in between this leg, because this is where the wiper's attached. So basically this here is the wiper, and can you see it's got a little bit sticking down? Yeah, that little bit sticking down. So what happens is, imagine now if this wiper is attached to this leg via the top, then let's say if this was going to be right the way around here, right, so pretend now that this is all the way to here on that bit of resistive material, then the difference between here and the leg that comes off here is going to be 500 ohms, isn't it? Sorry, 500,000 ohms, because we've got all this resistive material going right down to here to 500,000 ohms. And then on this leg to this leg, it's only going to be reading like 1 ohm or 2 ohms, or in reality it's probably going to be 450,000 ohms, and this would be 50,000 ohms. But you get what I mean. And then if this is in the middle here, then we're going to be reading roughly halfway. So it's going to be 250,000 ohms between this leg and the leg that goes down, and this leg and the leg that goes down, because you see the wiper is the only thing in contact with it. And you can clearly see it says 500k, so 500,000 ohms. So let's try to get this back together and see if we can get any reading. If not, I'll probably just stick some resistors in until the eBay ones arrive so I can finish up the video. So that's going to be there like so. I might need to put a little bit of super glue on that. And then we're going to put that on there, and that will stop the wiper from shorting against the rest. This is going to go up underneath, and you can see that this is where it's broken. It should have 2 of these tabs coming up, but it hasn't. It's only got 1 tab coming up, and that's why this has fallen apart. So let's put this under here, like so. Get that on top. Like that. And then we're going to get the wiper on here. Now, if that was on correctly, it should only be in contact with this leg here. And it's only in contact with these 2 pins via this little front bit, the wiper. Incredibly fiddly. There we go. So what I'm wondering is, if I was to get some blue tack underneath that and try to fill this middle bit with solder, would it take? Let's give it a go. Wow, it's on contacted there. I wonder, has that done it? I mean, it'd be nice if I could fill the whole middle, but I might not need to. I wonder when I solder it in whether it will all go wrong again. Now, first of all, can it still be turned? Yes, it can. Oh my word. Right, let's put it roughly in the middle. Let's see if it's going to be reading roughly 250. No. Oh no. Okay. I thought that would have made a contact. Now, why are you not contacting? Why are you not in contact with this here? Is it just dirty? Oh, it's very crusty. I should have cleaned it. What am I thinking? I should have cleaned it before putting it on. Now I'm just cleaning the bottom, but it's the other side that I need cleaned. Oh, what a shame. Because of the corrosion on that part of the board, the potentiometer here is very, very corroded. It's all crusted up. So what I need to do is, I soldered on the wiper onto the bottom bit. That's fine, that is making a contact, but that bottom bit isn't making contact with the outer ring that goes down to the board via the leg. It would make contact if it was clean, because it allows it to swivel. It's in contact all the time even though it turns, but because it's got so much crust on it, like a layer of crust, that's insulating it. So I have to take it apart again, unsolder it, and basically clean it completely by scraping it back, making sure it's all onto a nice clean material, and then I have to resolder it again. It's not that it's hard, it's just fiddly, and you need to make sure when you solder it up that you're putting pressure down and up at the same time, because it needs to be quite tight. You want that wiper to be making contact with the resistive material, but the wiper can't make contact with anything else. Only that one point has to make contact with the resistive material. So while I'm doing that, I'll shout out the My Mate Vince Massive. They're the top level Patreons. The members this month are kitsdigital.com, Kip Hakes, and Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeps.com, DJ VG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Russ Melanson, Gaspar Heller, Rickard Bergland, Soul Reaver 555, the My Mate Vince fan club, Shamsa Al Sawadi, and Stuart Park. So a massive thank you to each and every one of you. Right now, this has been soldered up again. Let's give it a quick test, and then if it's testing okay, we can solder it into place. Oh, I want that to be pushed down more. I know I'm tempting fate now. I just don't think that's going to work. Let me try to squeeze here and solder. Now that's tight. That's tight now. That's tight. I can feel it rubbing. Oh my word. I think that's it. $200, $360. Excellent. Let's get it soldered in. and we'll see if it makes any difference. Can't believe all the parts were like in the box and stuff. What are the odds of that? That little washer didn't fall out, that fibre washer. Right, I'm ready to plug it in and turn on. Let's see if it's going to come to life. Yes. Oh, here we go. Excellent. We have colour. We've got colour. Took a little bit of time to get going there, didn't it? Now, so that's colour. Let me do this switch. That's black and white. Okay. So, what colour is it supposed to be? I don't know, but let's start turning this and see what happens. Hold on. That looks nice. So we've gone to black and white there. Oh wow. Oh my god, you get all the colours. That's sick. And black and white. Right, it's slightly confusing doing it this way because the thing is, when it's on the demo mode at the beginning, it scrolls through loads of different colours anyway. So I'm not sure how much of this is me turning the potentiometer and how much is the demo just scrolling through different colours. But anyway, when the potentiometer is all the way one way, it goes black and white. And when it's all the way the other way, it goes black and white. And in the middle, there is a range of colour. But I've noticed that there's no sound happening whatsoever. So I'm going to go over to get the little ribbon cable that deals with the game reset and whatever the other one is, game select, and because I know that on the other working Atari 2600, when you press that, it comes to life. You know, you can hear the sound and the game starts. So let me do that now, and at least then we'll see whether sound's working. And also, I know that the very first screen is kind of like a black background and stuff, so I might recognise it once the game starts. Well, I just want to see now what happens now I've got these plugged in here. Let's see if I can kind of do game restart or whatever it is. Yes! Did you hear that? It's still not very happy though, is it? Oh my god, that colour looks right. That colour looks good. I'm not touching it. That colour looks really, really nice. Right, what's this one do? So these are the different game selects. 5, 6... Right, okay, I'm going to put this back together. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes, there's 20 games in it. Oh, that looks amazing. It actually looks very clear. Oh, I wish I had a controller. What am I going to do? That looks really good. Right, let me get this back together. Well, here it is, all back together, and I've given it a little clean. It's a very bashed and scratched up one, but it doesn't feel like you need a tetanus jab now when you touch it. So it's, yeah, it's a nice little usable console, and I think quite a stylish looking one. I like it more now. To begin with, I thought it looked nothing compared to this, but now I liked it more than I did to begin with, and I think it's because of this rainbow effect down here. I think it looks nice. So basically, it appears to be working just fine. I gave away my Atari 2600 and the games and the controllers and stuff to a friend because he was building a games room, but what I've done is I've just plugged in this joystick and it appears to be working. Now, what is not working on this one is these little bits are not sticking out here, so it means I have to ram a screwdriver in to get the game in there. But I'm thinking that that must be a common fault on many different people's consoles. So if anybody's got a little hack for that, could you put it down in the comments below? Maybe people 3D print a new bit of plastic to put on it, or maybe people even sell them on eBay and stuff. Maybe you can even get plastic molded versions. I'm not too sure. I didn't really look how it's connected. I don't know whether the pins are inside it or whether it just slots over the existing pins, but it does appear to be working just fine. I've been messing with it. I managed to get up to level 8 and it started going super quick. So let's just do a tiny little bit of gameplay. Sound and everything is just fine. So what I like about this game is the kind of physics of it. It actually feels like you're moving fast, especially when you go back the other way. It takes about a third off the screen to slow down and start going the way you want it to go. So it's nice. And from memory, this in the arcade when I was a kid, you've got to get these ones here. There we go. Let me rescue that one. Oh, no. Oh, no, I missed. It had a rollerball, I think. And there's something about a rollerball that just makes all the games better. Now, when I first of all did my first video on this, I thought it was a fault because, look, every time I fired, the ship disappears. But apparently the game's designed like that. It wouldn't be like that in the arcade, but I don't think there's enough, I can't remember what I was told, enough sprites, or there was something where it couldn't fire and have the ship at the same time. So I thought that was quite interesting. Let me see if I can rescue that one. There we go, I rescued. See? And down. And this is the map at the very top. Can you see this is, you can see all the aliens in the top. So once you've got rid of all the aliens on that level, then you'll go through to the next level. What I'm not sure about is when you're firing, if you can go through the aliens. Let me just see that. Well, mind you, I'm shooting them as I go through. But I'm thinking if you just keep doing that, you might be just indestructible. Which is a bit of a cheat. Anyway, let me try to do it properly just to show you completing one level. It's nice though how you're sort of scanning around for them, and when you get to like some of the last ones and you can hunt them down on that top screen there. It really is an enjoyable game. There's so many games for the Atari 2600, like that combat game. That is a great two-player game if you and your friends having a couple of drinks and just playing combat, especially the one where you disappear because then you don't know where they are. And obviously the graphics are awful. I'm not saying they're not, but it's not about graphics. It's about the playability of the game. And a game like this here now is enjoyable. Not obviously, I missed again. I wouldn't be thinking, yes, I'm going to rush home to play this game, but it's a nice, easy game that you can pick up. Right, let me see if I can rescue this one, then I'll end the video. Go on. Oh, come on. What is going on, Vince? Right, I think I've only got one left over here somewhere. So it should be coming into shot now. There we go. Right, next time I'll rescue someone, I'm going to end the game. Well, I suppose the whole point of it is you don't let them get down low to rescue. So let's not kill anything for a bit and wait till it makes that sound. Not that sound. Here we go. Right, okay, this one here. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just can't get them. Right, here we go. Come on. Right, here we go. Yes, got it there. Look. Yay. Right, bring them down. I think you just have to bring them down to earth. Yeah, there we go. What a fun game. And what a fun little fix. So basically the exciting part there was the potentiometer. I think apart from that, it seems, which is weird, it seems like it was a cold solder joint on the voltage regulator, which is odd because when I put my finger on it, it started to work. But also it could be other, I did reflow a few other joints around the place as well. And I gave everything a bit of a clean up. So I suppose it could be a few things. But definitely when I touched that, it seemed to work. So, and that was the first time I ever got anything on the screen. So I think just somehow resoldering the joints there worked, even though from the very beginning we had a red light, which was a little bit odd. But anyway, it's working now. Thank you so much for watching.